Hey y'all, so I wasn't sure if I was going to share this, but I really feel like my birth story can really help somebody out. I actually started vlogging my entire experience at the hospital, but things took a turn that I did not expect. So me and my husband agreed to stop filming and just be present. What happened next, I could have never imagined. I had no sickness. Any test that I had to take during my pregnancy came out nearly perfect. And most importantly, my blood pressure was always at 120. So I never had any blood pressure issues. But on April 5th, right as I hit my 33 weeks mark, you guys know, I went to my regular prenatal checkup and my doctor realized that my blood pressure was at 128. She told me that it was nothing to worry about. Just go ahead and buy a blood pressure machine so I can do it at home, so I can check it every single day. And if it hits 140, that's when we should feel alarmed. But she told me to not worry because it could have been just that day. But y'all, literally the next day, April 6th, which was a Sunday, my blood pressure hit exactly 140. So I went to the ER. They gave me blood pressure medicine, which I later found out that this blood pressure medicine that they gave me don't work on Black people. I will get back to that, but they sent me home and they told me that the blood pressure medicine should work and I should be fine. But by Tuesday, of course, the medicine didn't work. I was back at the hospital again. And you guys, this specific hospital really didn't help me out at all. It's the one that is closest to my new home. And for some reason, it's beautiful. It's a smaller hospital though. It's for women and children, but it's super small if you have little knickknacks or whatever. But like, as far as my blood pressure goes, I feel like they didn't really help me as much. So I went back over there. They was like, okay, we're going to take a urine test. And during that test, we're going to see if you have a specific amount of protein in your urine. If you do, then we are able to tell if you have preeclampsia. They sent me back home. And at this point, your girl was livid. Because I'm like, why is my blood pressure not going down? Honestly, you guys, this whole time, I'm not feeling no symptoms. Any symptoms that I should have been feeling with my blood pressure, I don't feel it. I went home, did the 24-hour urine test, brought it back the next day, and that was that. Didn't hear nothing from them. That was that. I was exhausted. I thought that it's because I'm in my third trimester and this is part of, the third trimester. I should be tired because everyone and their mom is telling me, yeah, you have all this energy, but wait till the third trimester, you're gonna be tired. And I thought that the exhaustion that I was feeling was because I'm in my third trimester. Oh, baby, no. It's because my blood pressure was extremely high. And I had a headache that I've never felt before. Honestly, I didn't know it was a headache until I was admitted into the hospital and they told me what I'm feeling was a headache. Thursday, I was running a few errands. As you guys can see in my last vlog, I had the flooring to go get done. I had BJ's to go to, and then I also had rooms to go to. But at every stop, I literally spent an hour, you guys. I kid you not, an hour at every single stop in the car, trying to catch my breath, trying to build up the energy to get out the car. And after that, I realized, okay, after the second stop and I went to rooms to go, I said, you know what? Let me just go home and rest. Later that night, my husband and I had band rehearsal. I was already on maternity leave with the band because that Saturday, which would have been April 12th, we had a performance down in Miami for a huge festival. So the band was trying to squeeze in a last late night rehearsal. So we were getting ready to go there and then I was not feeling well. So I told my husband, let's check my blood pressure. My blood pressure was 185. I don't even remember the bottom number, but when I seen that it was 185, I was shocked. No wonder I was feeling crazy. No wonder it took me so long to just build up the energy. I am sick and I have to go to the hospital. Since my husband was already on the way to rehearsal, he asked me if he should go with me. I said, no, go to the rehearsal because I think I'll be okay. Go to the rehearsal and then I'll go to the nearest hospital. Since we only have one car, I drove him to the rehearsal. And the hospital that I went to, it was the Orlando location, which was Advent Health. I wanted to deliver at Advent Health, the Celebration location, but since it was closer to his rehearsal spot, I went to Advent Health in Orlando. I wish I was going to Advent Health every single time I went to the hospital. I was not going to Advent Health. It was 11 p.m. I got checked in and everything, and the midwife told me, okay, so your blood pressure is high. You might have preeclampsia. Are you taking anything? She was just getting the history of my pregnancy. I told her the whole entire pregnancy, everything was good. And I told her when my blood pressure started to go high. And then I told her what medicine I was on. And at that moment, she said, and this is why it's so hard for people to trust the medical field and the system, because the person that prescribed you that medicine clearly sees that you are a Black woman. And it has been said and studied and, you know, proven that that specific blood pressure medicine do not work for Black people. She said there's 2 medicines that can work. And she said, we're going to try one of them. If that one doesn't work, we're going to try the next one. You guys, she gave me the first medicine. Instantly, within 20 minutes, my blood pressure was down. Instantly. But with preeclampsia, that never lasts. Especially when you have it while you have the baby. You have to have the baby in order for your blood pressure to go down. I'm not a medical professional, but this is what they were telling me. And this is what my experience is. So we took the medicine, they admitted me, we got a room, cool beans. My husband ended up meeting me there at 1 a.m. We were cracking jokes, and then I asked the nurse, hey, are we able to eat? She was like, yes, you're able to eat. At this point, it's at 1 going on to 2. My husband got me some Wawa, and we was eating. And at 3 a.m., a high-risk doctor came in. And she was like, hey, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. She said, you're having a baby. And I said, I would hope so. And she was like, no, you're having the baby now. And I said, what? She said, yes. I just went home and they called me and told me about your case. And I had to rush back because you're having this baby now. Your life is in danger. With the numbers that we were getting from your BP, your life is in danger. We have to take the baby out. So we're going to start inducing you. I was shocked. I just looked at her and I said, well, I was hoping to have the baby eventually. And she giggled, because if you know anything about me, I always try to make light of any situation. Me and my husband, we like to giggle, we like to laugh, because we're not going to sit here and stress about it, right? But deep down inside, my heart dropped. And it was then my husband grabbed my hand and he said, you got this. And from that moment on, everything moved fast. We called our friends, we called our family members to let them know, hey, we are having this baby. Mind you guys, the baby shower is scheduled for May 3rd. It is April 11 at 3 a.m. in the morning, and they're telling me that I'm having this baby. We don't have anything for this baby. Not a car seat, not clothes, nothing. My postpartum bag was not fixed, nothing. As you guys know, we just moved into a house, and I had plans to start everything that next week, right before the baby shower. And as far as the baby things goes, we didn't want to get anything for the baby yet until the baby shower, until after the baby shower, so that way we can get anything that nobody else got us. But this is why God is God. At a blink of an eye, our friends showed up and showed out. We just seen a car seat coming. We seen baby's going home outfit coming in. His outfits for the hospital, diapers, wipes, everything dropped off at the hospital. My brother ran all over Florida getting me postnatal items, getting my postnatal bag ready, getting clothes for me and Mark for us to spend a week or however long we have to spend at the hospital, because we weren't prepared. And we just moved into a house. All of our stuff is in boxes. Nobody knows. He's the only one that knows that we just bought a house. So we're trying to keep it under wraps while about to have a baby. And of course, the friends that couldn't be there was praying for us nonstop, because as you guys know, this was not in our bingo cards at all to have this baby so soon. Literally 6 weeks before he was due. By that time, I was in the delivery room. I was in pain. You wouldn't be able to tell, because I'm a strong girl. They wrapped my entire bed frame because I was prone to seizures and a stroke. That's how high my BP was. They gave me meds almost every single hour, and every single hour they came in and checked my feet to see if they were numb. They checked my vision to see if it's blurry, and they asked me if I had a headache. And I always said no, not realizing that I was dying under a headache. I just didn't know that that pain was a headache. If you've ever had preeclampsia, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This headache is different from a regular headache, is different from a regular migraine. It's something that I cannot explain. It low-key feels like it's not there, but it's there. It's draining. It's almost like a pressure that you get while you're sick. I'm currently sick right now while we're speaking. And I have that headache pressure, and it's nothing like how the headache was when I had preeclampsia. Everything is moving fast. They gave me the Pitocin, and I was in labor for over 8 hours with no epidural because my birth plan was to do it naturally with no epidurals. It reached to a point where I could handle the contractions even when they were 1 to 2 minutes apart. But it was the headache that was killing me. That pain was literally out of this world. I've never felt pain like that ever while I'm having active labor contractions. My heart was racing and I was literally shaking. And through it all, my husband never stopped praying. I always knew that Mark loved me, but that night I saw it, I felt it, and I lived it. He spent the entire time praying over me. And I'm not talking about quiet prayers. I'm talking about deep, soul-moving prayers. One of my nurses leaned down and whispered in my ear, "Don't ever let him go." In her 15 years, she has never seen a husband go that hard and pray over his wife like Mark is doing for me. She told me, "You are the most blessed wife I've ever met." I couldn't speak, I couldn't pray, but Mark covered me. He took his place as the head of the family and led us in faith. But things didn't get better. It's now April 12th. I was still stuck at 6 centimeters. I tried softening my cervix with the balloon, but my BP was still rising, my heart rate was still racing, and that headache just wouldn't let up. And the wild part is I didn't even realize that it was that bad. I kept telling the nurses I was fine, but they saw the signs. They knew that I wasn't. At 2:50 p.m. they came in and said, "Abby, we have no choice but to give you the epidural. It's the last thing that we could try before surgery." And at that point I broke down, because the entire time they were trying to bring down my BP and nothing was working. And they said that because they gave me the Pitocin, that was literally rising my BP as well. Every single time I was having contractions, my blood pressure was higher. So they wanted to give me epidural. At this point, I'm way over 8 hours of in labor, excruciating pain. And they were like, "You know what? The epidural is going to help. It's going to help with the pain, and we're praying to God that it helps bring down the blood pressure." I broke down because if you know me, I have chronic back pain already. I was in a car accident in 2014, and at the time, doctors told me if I ever have a child, try my best to stay away from epidural because it will cause my back pain to be even worse. Mark and my mom looked at me and they said, "Girl, you got this." The people that's giving me the epidural came in and they gave me the epidural. I stayed completely still. I did not flinch. They told me that I was the strongest patient that they seen. I didn't even flinch, not even twitched. And I said, "Yeah, because I'm not trying to die." The whole time I'm in pain, I'm sick, I'm literally like holding on by a thread. I tried my best to stay positive because I just kept on crying, you guys, and my husband was praying and I tried to be strong, but there was times where I wasn't able to be strong for real. The epidural was supposed to bring my BP down, but of course it did not. The doctor said, "We have to take out this baby now." At that point, you guys, I literally felt like every single part of me, every bone, every, being in my body, I just felt like everything shattered. I looked to my husband and I looked at my mom, and Claudia was also there too. And at that moment, I knew that I had to do exactly what I didn't want to do. I already did the epidural. The epidural did not work. They said it should have worked within 5 minutes. The moment I was numb, my blood pressure should have went down. It didn't work. They said, we cannot play with your life any longer. We need to take this baby out. Mind you guys, the entire time the baby's heart rate was good. He had no issues. It was me that was in danger. It was my life that was in danger. I looked at them. They looked like they were defeated, but my husband got up and he kept praying and he kept praying. He said, "Abby, if it's God's will for you to have this surgery, you're going to have this surgery and you're going to come out alive." Mind you guys, this is my first surgery. So they said that they want me to decide, but we really don't have time. Looked at everybody. They said, "Go ahead and do it." So I did it. I said, "Okay." And within 5 minutes, I seen that all the doctors, everyone that's doing their part, they're introducing themselves to me. And they got Mark suited up because I decided for him to come with me inside of the OR room. My mom was telling me that she loves me and all that good stuff, telling me to go with God. Claudia was like, "You got this." And Mark obviously is right there by me. And I went in first and then he came in later. He went in. When I went in, he was like, "You got this, babe. Don't worry." And he got suited up. When they rolled me in, they asked me what kind of music did I want to play, because they made it seem like it was a birthday party, because obviously it's the birthday of the baby. And I told them gospel music. And Tasha Cobbs came on, not by might, not by power, but by your spirit, God. And at that moment, I knew God was in the room, and I knew that everything was going to be okay. When they started the surgery, they started to cut me. Of course, they was telling me everything that they were doing. They gave me the epidural. They made me sure that I didn't feel anything. And when they started, they said that they're cutting through each layer and stuff like that. And then when they were ready to take out the baby, they said, we're about to take him out. And when they took him out, all I heard was cries. He started crying, and my heart I just felt like a weight, got off of my back, because with all that was going on, his life could have been in danger too. Thank God, God covered him and God covered me. He was born April 12th at 3:26 p.m. He was born 4 pounds, 10 ounces. And when they cleaned him up for a little bit and brought him to me, he opened his eyes, and he was crying, and he opened his eyes. And instantly when he touched my face, his skin, they put his face on my face, he stopped crying and he was good. And I was just like, at that moment, I just could not believe that he was here. It started to get worse, you guys. They took him, Mark and him went to the NICU. I told Mark to go with him. Mark was like, do you want me to stay with you? I said, please go with him. Like, I'm good. God is with me. I'm good. So they started to sew me up. When they got to my muscle, I started to feel it. And I'm not talking about the pressure. I started to feel them gluing and sewing up my muscle. I told the lady that's giving me the medicine, I was like, am I supposed to feel this? I feel something. And she was like, no, you probably feel the pressure. I was like, no, I feel sharp pain, and it's intensifying as I'm speaking to you. She said, they're sewing up your muscles. Sometimes you feel that more. I'm like, no, this is not like a deeper pressure. I'm feeling the pain. And then she was like, okay, let me give you some more epidural. So she instantly, quickly gave me the epidural. And at that moment, after like 2 to 3 seconds, maybe 10 seconds max, I didn't feel it anymore. She was like, oh my God. The reason why is because you're tall, so it takes time to get down to you. And I told them, make sure y'all don't leave no tools. They started laughing, and they're like, we're going to make sure that we don't leave no tools. And they asked me again if I wanted to keep my placenta. I said yes. Throughout my whole stay at the hospital, I kept telling them that I want to keep it. They kept telling me, okay. But then they tried to convince me that they need to do tests. I said, no, it's okay. Give me my placenta. So when they gave me that placenta, my brother came and took it and put it in the freezer. What killed me the most, and what probably was the hardest part of this whole entire birth story, is the fact that never had the skin to skin with my baby when he first came out. And we were in a different room. At this point, to make a long story short, we spent a week at the hospital. I was going back and forth, learning how to re-walk again, because I just went through major abdominal surgery. And I was expected to get up within 6 hours, to walk, to pee, to fart within 6 hours, and to breastfeed. My milk supply came in the next day, and at that point I started to feed the baby. He was in NICU because everything was good with him. The only thing is that he needed to learn how to eat on his own, so they had a tube in his nose. So I spent the entire week going up and down. The reason why I spent a week at the hospital is because at this point my blood pressure kept going back up. So that's when they realized, okay, yes, you still have preeclampsia. So that's when, you guys, they started to overload your girl with drugs. I thought that I was getting medicine beforehand. No, they were trying to get the blood pressure in control after the fact, because at that point it was even more dangerous, because they're like, okay, we got the baby out and it instantly went down. Why is the blood pressure still going up? So they're giving me different doses of medicine here and there. It reached to a point where, you guys, I kept getting my blood drawn. I just felt like a puppet, a dummy, a test dummy at this point. They just kept getting blood out of me. I lost so much blood just giving birth. And then they took so much blood, but by just running tests and trying to figure out what is going on, why my blood pressure not going down. After a week of them constantly injecting me, giving me pills to drink, and I'm talking about by the hour, every 5 to 6 hours, depending on what the pill is for. And I spent 2 days without the baby. Oh my God, that was probably the hardest part, going home and not being with the baby. We got him transferred to Advent Health Celebration, and I felt like when we got him transferred there, they knew exactly what they were doing. They got him out within a day. He learned how to eat, he was gaining his weight, and we was able to take him home. I really didn't expect to share this story. I really wanted to do the amazing content with you guys that everybody always do at the hospital, sharing the birth plan. The moment that we realized things was going left, we had to stop. I wanted to share this birth story because you're going to see a huge gap between when I got to the hospital and when I got to take Michael home. It's a huge gap. And like I said, at that point, me and Mark decided to stop filming and just be in the present. And this is the main reason why I did not want to go live or to be pregnant in real time and share it, because you just never know. Pregnancy is like a roller coaster. It could be smooth riding and everything, and then out of nowhere it dips. And that's exactly what happened to me. I'm just grateful that God was on my back. I have a praying husband, a praying mom, and praying friends that are always there for me. My village is very strong, and I truly, truly, truly see who I married during this time. And I truly, truly see who I befriended and who's my family during this time. I hope you guys enjoyed. Today, Micah is 2 months. And as you guys are watching this, today is my 30th birthday as well. So I just felt like I had to share this with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. And I love you guys.